And the only way you become conscious, the only way you get good at changing your conscience or your consciousness is to catch yourself going unconscious. And sooner or later, if you get really good at it, you begin to disentangle from the program and you begin to objectify your subjective self. And there's dissonance that goes on in the brain and body that's very uncomfortable. It seems really hard. It seems like we can't see there's an end. There's circuitry that's no longer firing and wiring. There's no longer the same chemicals that are produced. You're no longer signaling the same genes or the same hormones. The body's in flux, it's in dissonance, it's out of order. And most people return back to the familiar, right? And they say, oh, this feels right to me. Well, that feels familiar, right? So if a person is stuck in their life, the first step to change is examining your thoughts, paying attention to how you speak and how you act, and look at these emotions that keep you connected to the past and finally decide, does this emotion belong in my future? And I think many people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. We literally have to become someone else, and it's fundamental. We already know this. And so many people don't want to go through the work of taking a look at themselves because it's tedious. It's easier to turn on the television or scroll through your social media or make a phone call or get distracted, right? But we discovered that in our 7-day week-long retreats, if you give people something to do, if they understand the philosophy, the theory, they understand the knowledge base of what they're doing, and you give them something to do and so they can begin to change, right around the second day, people start, breaking through. They start seeing a different landscape. They're no longer tormenting their body with the same thoughts that produce the same emotions. They're no longer complaining and blaming and making excuses. And they're thinking differently because they're challenged to learn a lot of information. They're challenged to learn information and knowledge, and that causes people to think differently. And then if you start to think differently because you learn new information, you begin to make different choices. And if you make different choices, you can begin to do different things and behave in different ways, and you can create new experiences, you can feel new emotions. And that's exactly what we discovered that changes a person's biology. The second point from that question is many people are waiting for something out there in their life to change, to take away the lack or the separation of not having the life that they want. I mean, think about it. Our senses plug us into three-dimensional reality, and the way that we create is we create based on lack. You see the sports car, you see the wardrobe, you see the scarf, you see the boat, whatever it is that a person wants. The lack of not having that particular thing causes the brain to naturally dream about having it. The challenge is that the only way for most people to get that dream to actually become actualized in three-dimensional reality, you got to do something. You got to do something because there's the distance between the thought of what you want and the experience of having it is called time. And time is separation, right? So we've been hypnotized and conditioned to believe that when the experience happens in our life, well, think about it. You work hard, you save money, you make sacrifices, you put in your extra time, you work and you start accumulating success or abundance or wealth, and you start thinking, okay, I want the boat, right? And then you spend a year saving up all your money, you get the boat. When you get the boat, the experience produces an emotion that takes away the lack of not having it. But if you're creating reality and it's not working, then many people will spend their entire life living in lack or separation, and we cannot attract anything in our life that we feel separate from. It's impossible. If you work hard and you put in your time and matter to matter, you're getting your behaviors to match your intentions and your actions equal to your thoughts, you're getting your mind and body working together, you're going to run into your goal. You're going to run into your experience. The experience of your abundance, your experience of your thing that you want takes away the lack of not having it, right? But some people are creating, but they're spending their whole life in lack waiting for the world to change to feel abundant, right? And we discovered that that's kind of the opposite of the way people actually get what they want. When they start holding a very clear vision of their future, and we call that intention, and you need a coherent brain to do that, and we work diligently to get people's brains tuned up to order. The more coherent the brain, the more high functioning it is, the greater the signal. And it turns out that you have to feel the emotion of the future before it happens, because the emotion is the energy that's going to drive your body to that end and to have the experience. And at the same time, if you're truly practicing feeling the emotion of your future, you won't be in lack. In fact, you'll feel, if you feel like your future has already happened, you'll never look for it. You only look for it when you feel separate from it. So it's kind of an analogy of, like, cause and effect, waiting for your healing to feel gratitude, waiting for your abundance to feel worthy or successful, waiting for your relationship to feel love, the old model of reality of cause and effect. The new model of reality is causing an effect. The moment you feel gratitude, your healing begins.
Wow.
The moment you're empowered and you're worthy, you're stepping or generating abundance, you're stepping towards your success. Now, the moment you're in love with yourself and in love with life and you see beauty in all things, it's natural that you'll attract an equal. So that's causing an effect. All you need is a clear intention and an elevated emotion. Mm-hmm. And when you combine that clear intention and elevated emotion, just like when a person is remembering the past and feeling the emotion, if you start holding the intention and you feel the emotion, the stronger the emotion you feel, the more you remember the vision, and you can begin to remember your future. Why is that important? Because biologically, if you do it well, your brain will look like it's already happened. And if you do it really well, genetically, your body will begin to change to look like it's already happened. In other words, our data shows that in 7 days at a week-long event, when people really get in the creative process, they upregulate thousands of genes and metabolites to suggest that they're living in a whole new life, a whole new environment. The body's so objective. It doesn't know the difference between a real-life experience that creates the emotion and the emotion that we can create by thought alone. To the body, it's exactly the same. So the body begins to believe it's living in that future. And of course, there's the thought and the feeling, there's the image and the emotion, there's the stimulus and response. We can condition the body emotionally to begin to believe it's living in the future. And if the environment signals the gene, and it does, the end product of an experience in the environment is emotion, you could actually regulate genes, upregulate genes ahead of the environment. That's exactly what we discovered. And people's bodies and brains change enough that it looks like the event has already happened. Now, this is where the fun part starts. Because if there's physical evidence in your brain and body that it has already happened, time to relax. This is when the synchronicities, this is when the opportunities, this is when the coincidences, all of a sudden you no longer have to go anywhere and do anything to get it. Somehow there's an attraction, they're coming to you. They're coming to you without having to do anything. And so it's just a reframing of our understanding of how to create. You can get really good at creating a lot of things matter to matter. You can, study. You can learn from your mistakes. You can, get consulting. You can do all these things, and you can get really good at doing it. But there's another way. There is another way.